Bill again, and I want to tackle something a little different. This is a dish that's very wonderful, traditional. It's a Spanish dish, paella, that really isn't that hard. You know, everyone. I always thought it was. The thing that obviously they want to do is they want to kind of crust it, and I wasn't sure how that was going to turn out, so I'm going to kind of do it my way, and we'll see if it tastes just as good. I've had some pretty darn good paella from people that actually had lived in Spain and had made it, and were pretty darn much experts, more than myself. So once we get the rice cooked, it's all really simple, and one of the things is you want to keep the rice kind of off the bottom, so we kind of float it in this dish. They do make paella pans. I tried to kind of change this recipe so it'll fit in a regular 12-inch frying pan, because I know that's what most of y'all have, and I am using a non-stick, so this is just an experiment. Anyway, so I got like 3 tablespoons of olive oil in here, getting pretty toasty. And I have a whole sweet onion and a whole red pepper that I've diced up. Let's see if my pan's getting hot yet. Patience is a virtue of this dish. I love the start of it. I love the color. I think there's some really fantastic flavors involved here. So let's get this. Once we get this started, let that all kind of cook, kind of making a nice thin layer so I can really get it to sizzle up there. So one of the things is I like a really good chorizo. Now this is actually local butcher makes this. It's really exceptional. But I don't like frying in a frying pan because I think it's just got so much grease and you don't get rid of it. So I cook it in a 350 oven, 20 minutes, flip it, 20 more minutes, and you know, put it in the fridge. You can put it in the freezer, actually I did, so you can pull it out a later day. And I just cut it in half lengthwise and then chopped it up. So it's pretty small pieces. And now we're not going to throw all that grease. I mean, obviously there's going to be some retained grease in it, but it's not going to be all greasy and funky. Alright, this is starting to get happy. Trying to ignore it. Things always cook better when you ignore them. Okay. And you know, the key is you should just get pretty used to how much, you know, basic cooking skills, how much oil does it take to cover the bottom of your pan and what are you trying to fry. If you're trying to cook mushrooms that absorb some of the liquid, you're going to put a little more in, but just some basic onion and red pepper here. We're good. Torch them up. People always have these, like, I love reading forums about cooking. Interesting misconceptions. You know, it's really nothing difficult. Just look at the recipe. If you don't like a recipe, look at another one. If there's an ingredient you don't like, you can probably just take it out. You know, baking is a science. This is just an art. You just get, and you know, if you have a flavor profile you like, just keep using it. You can just switch the ingredients. Call it what you want. Maybe you make it a little different. You call it New Orleans style paella. I mean, that's okay. Do whatever you want. All right, now I got this stuff really rumbling up here. I want to Just get a little caramelized, not too much. Kind of leave it alone because it's got a nice little single layer of the veggies in here, which worked out really well. That's kind of an accident. There's a pretty good sized onion, and I've been buying extra because they haven't been great, you know. And you know, if you cut into an onion, I've said this 100 times, and it's starting to grow or whatever, you can always cut the bad part out. You know, it's do what you gotta do. You know, you want it to look pretty. I hate when you cut up an onion, it's all green inside and you gotta peel it all out. It's like trying to pick like the best avocados, and then when you go to make guacamole, you cut open that one that's all brown or one that's all hard and can't use it. Okay, so I'm gonna get this chorizo in here. It was just 2 links. Because I want everything to be, you know, kind of at temperature. When we start seasoning it up, I really need it nice and toasty warm. Remember food safety, you know, your meats and stuff, meats and fish. Don't want them sitting at that funny temperature too long. Even if they're already cooked. If they're already cooked, then they're a little safer. But, you know, really think about going from refrigerator to heat and not leave stuff lying around. Alright, you know me. I got my garlic. Got like 4 pretty decent sized cloves. And some of the juice is coming out of the chorizo, just like I wanted it to. You know, if you can find homemade sausage, it's so much better. You know, if you can find a shop that makes their own, it's just, you know, buying the stuff in the store, I'm sorry. It's just mass produced is never going to be as good as your small production. Someone in the back that's grinding, you know, cutting and grinding meat and adding seasoning by hand. It just okay. So the garlic's really coming out. I really can smell it now. So this is, everyone says chorizo or paella has yellow rice. Well, no, I use white rice, right? What? How do you make yellow rice? Saffron. So I want to get a couple threads of saffron in here. And I buy this online out of Miami, some Cuban store. I think it's called the Cuban Market. And it's affordable, so I don't mind putting a bunch in there. I have basically a 1/4 cup of cilantro. I'm steaming my face, then I kind of challenge a little bit. It's funny how the cilantro really steams up quick. I got my bay leaf. I have 2 teaspoons of smoked paprika. You can use regular paprika. I just like the smoky flavor in here. And I have a teaspoon of cumin. Oh yeah, that smoked paprika just... Let's see. Mix this around. Okay, at this point I would be willing to eat it, okay? Everything nice and coated. So I'm a real novice at this, but hopefully I'm going to show you a way that is less scary than what you thought. And I'm not trying to be the expert in how to make like the best. I'm trying to show you how you can make something at home that you're going to really like. You can always use a wok if you don't have something big enough. Okay. Other than that, scares the rabbits too. Alright, so I got my 14, 15, depending on, this is 14.5 ounce can of diced tomatoes I want to throw in here. It's going to be our liquid that we're starting with. Again, I still want to get things. And you know, there's a point we don't want to be stirring and mushing. So pretty soon we're just going to be kind of gently working it. More folding. That's why I wanted to get all that seasoning in here. Oh yeah. Ugh. So this is where we want to get it all nice and mixed together. And if you're using fresh sausage and it starts, let's burn my nose, it starts to come out of the skin, don't worry about it. It's going to taste really good anyways. Alright, let's get this back up where it's happy. Now I got everything mixed together. Oh, smells like absolute. I want you to know this is absolute. Oh, just blow your mind, right? Alright, now start. Half a cup white wine. We're going to let that kind of cook down. Getting that alcohol to evaporate out won't take long. Wow, it's just amazing. This is. Hope this works. I really do, because I'm a little nervous, just a little. And you really need that surface area. You know, ideally, in fact, I almost ordered one the other day. A 14-inch pan. I've seen Paella pans like 18 inches, you know, family style kind of stuff. But I'm going to try and do it this way, and if it doesn't work, you're going to be the first to know, or maybe not, because I won't tell you. That might be my secret. And I'll order a bigger pan. But I think for us amateurs, using a non-stick pan is just so much easier. Wow. Yeah, I really wish you were standing here right now and you could smell this. I can smell every spice, every seasoning in there. I smell that bay leaf right now. That's the smoked paprika. It's just divine. So you can cut up a tomato and put in here. But I'm going to tell you something. That's a real fact that nobody wants to talk about. For the most part, your canned tomatoes were picked at the absolute freshest. You're not going to get them any fresher trying to go to the market unless you find some really nice. And lately the tomatoes have been kind of picked early, or they've got soft spots from shipping or whatever. So if I'm cooking them, I will always, and I use the organic ones, and they don't have sodium and blah blah blah. And I just find that just works so much better. And I am kind of adjusting the recipe for it because they're going to have liquid. Everything's really happy now. Look at me. Okay, so now I got like, this is a cup and a half of your basic white rice. And I want to get it layered in here. I'm going to turn it down just a little bit. The pan's getting away from me. So I want the rice to cook. I don't want it to stick on the bottom if I were using a Paella pan. So this is why I'm showing you how to do this, so you can choose how you want to cook it. And don't go all the way out to the edge, and I'm going to show you why in just a minute. So, I need to make sure we keep liquid in here, right? Because we want that rice to cook. And I'm going to guess this rice is going to take probably about 15 minutes to cook. So, what we want to do is just smell it for a while. That's really what I'm thinking about here. I got 2 cups of, this is chicken stock. I know this is a seafood dish. I don't think I'd use seafood stock. I'd probably use vegetable stock if I were ahead to go out and buy it. But what you want to do, and this is kind of cool, so I want to pour in from the edge so I'm not sinking the rice. And I really don't need to put a whole lot in now, but I want to show you this. So you just kind of keep the measuring cup over the center, and I could move the, or go left-handed. I just want to kind of get enough in here. You see, that way if it runs down, it's not running down on the counter or on the stove. It's steaming up my cup. Sorry. So now, all we're going to do, we got that rice is nice and submerged. I'm going to stand here like a good century and watch this for 15 minutes. I want to make sure that rice is cooking, and I want to make sure the pan doesn't go dry, and we want to make sure we've got a pretty good little simmer. This is a little, I call this kind of like a rough simmer, you know. It's not a boil, because if it were a boil it would be blowing all over the place, but it's not really just a little teeny simmer. And I want to make sure that as the liquid heats up in here, it doesn't make it too hot. And there's a age-old argument about covering Paella when you're cooking it, and most people say no because you want to do that whole evaporation process. So that's why I do it this way. And so anyway, before I bore you to death, I'm going to sit here for 15 minutes and watch this and add broth as I need. I'm going to tell you exactly how much I had to add, and I'll be back to see you in about 15 minutes. Everything looks really great. All right. So my rice isn't crunchy anymore, it's getting done. It's grown, okay. So I'm putting scallops, shrimp, and mussels. Well, I use these frozen mussels. You can use fresh, but I like these frozen I get at the grocery store. And so I'm doing them separately because you want to make sure they're pop open and look really great. And they're going to take about 6 minutes. Well, that's just about the right time. So let's finish up my paella. I got half a cup of peas that were frozen and thawed. Don't diss frozen vegetables. I got me some shrimp, And we're just gonna kind of just hang out. Help me. And I got some of these sea scallops. I'm going to push them in. I'll show you what I'm going to do so that I get my hand washed. And I did use up the whole Okay, so what I want to do is I just want to get these kind of buried in here. And then it looks like if I was distracted, it looks like I need to put a little more juice in here. Because we want all that seafood to have some good flavor. Don't be nervous at this kind of heat. The shrimp are going to cook pretty darn quick. Put a little more stock on this. Just to get that all roasting up. Don't mind me, I'm just drooling. Shrimp are turning nice and pink. The scallops are doing good. Ugh. I know this lid's going to be toasty. Turn them down, they got about 2 more minutes. And this is the way I remember it. And oh look, I found the bay leaf, which I always take out. you can't imagine how really wonderful this smells. And you can see the shrimp are all cooked. All right, so what am I going to do here? Let's make this all happen. Oh, I'm so excited. Let's turn this off. I know I got really a bigger dish to put this in, but I just want to show you. All right. We don't want to be shy because we got lots of good seafood in there. These mussels are really great. So if you've never made this, I hope you think that this really wasn't the end of the world difficult. And this is absolutely a great recipe. It tastes so good. I've been kind of sampling the whole thing, but just so you can see, I mean, yeah, it's the way it's supposed to be. It's perfect. The liquid's all absorbed now. The rice is cooked. Man, it's really, really good. Really simple flavors, really tastes good. So I hope you find it in your hearts to try something like this. Make something really fun, have a great time doing it. And let me know. If you're an expert with making paella, tell me what I did wrong or what I should do differently. But I think this tastes really good. And you got just that right flavor balance. Anyway, I gotta eat some of this. So, thanks for sticking with me. Appreciate all of you. Keep the comments coming and have a great day.